Definitely the scariest thing I've ever been through. Woke up to the sound of the wind, pulling roofs off, ripping things down. Looked out my window and saw just, mass chaos. I went to the Philippines to try to get better at my sign language. So about 8 months before I went to the Philippines, I was learning sign, just started taking ASL classes in a community course, and really fell in love with the language. I find it to be this really exciting, expressive language, and throughout understanding the language better, I became very appreciative of my own senses and my hearing and things like that. And it made me just want to learn more about sign language, get more engulfed into the deaf culture, and learn more about what it was actually like to be deaf. I was there to oversee the class, so I was doing everything. I was coming up with lessons plans. I was teaching, all day long. So I became pretty much a main teacher role, even though I was supposed to just kind of be assisting the whole time. I'll be completely honest, I didn't really like teaching that much. But I did enjoy teaching some things, and it was what my students got really excited about. And so there were 2 opportunities that I got to teach my students how to dance for a sports fest or an assembly or something like that. And they absolutely loved it. All I wanted was for the school to see that, deaf kids can dance too. It doesn't matter that they can't hear the music. They can still learn the rhythm, and they can still learn to be coordinated together, and they can look cool. And so that was probably my favorite thing that I did at school, was teaching dance. We saw a lot of other typhoons come through the Philippines, but most of them missed us. So when they started talking about this super typhoon, we didn't really know what to think. Especially for me, I don't know anything about typhoons, and I'm not in a hurricane-prone area of the United States, so I don't even know what the classifications are. We kind of joked about it more than anything else. It would be something you'd talk about in passing. Oh, you hear there's a super typhoon coming? Oh yeah, they named it Yolanda. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But it's nothing, no one was ever really nervous about it, it seemed like. They're so used to having these storms come through that they don't let it really affect their lives at all. And so it didn't affect my life either. Water's flooding into the upstairs, flowing downstairs like a waterfall. And people are using their feet or cardboard boxes or anything they can pick up just to try to sweep this water out so the house won't flood, to try to save our things. And while they were doing that was when the seawater came in. And it was rising so fast that there was nothing we could do but get to the 2nd floor. And so everyone picked up, and everyone's yelling in a different language. And so I'm trying to pick up things by their body languages. And then finally someone says to me, we have to go upstairs. We watched the water rise almost to the height of our entire 1st floor. We could see it coming up the stairs. We watched the men in our family pull people out of the water. They'd come in completely soaked. I was giving away any dry clothes I had, towels, jackets, whatever I could. But then at the same time, I was bundled up as much as I could too, because I was soaked, I was freezing. And I was, just trying to be positive if I could, because I was horribly scared. And I cried a bunch. But when I saw younger people crying, I had to calm myself down and say, it's going to be okay. We're going to make it through this. We're going to survive. Things immediately started going back to normal. People stopped talking about the typhoon. They started talking about, what's going to happen, or we would look at what was gone outside, or we would just try to forget how terrible things were, I guess. Even though everything was completely torn down around us. There were houses that had been completely swiped away. There were trees that had fallen across the road. There were power lines that were down everywhere. Everything was still flooded, up to your calf probably. And even though everything looked so terrible around us, the people were still so happy. And it was so weird to me because I'd like to think I'm an optimistic person, but at this point it was really hard for me to be optimistic. But all of them were, just picking their lives up exactly where they had left off. Hours after the typhoon, people were joking about houses that were down. Oh, look at his house. It's completely gone. Said in such a nonchalant way, oh, no big deal. And they just know that things will have to pick back up. I just came to the realization that if we have an opportunity to leave, we need to. Because it's only a matter of time before the food runs out and we don't have any more water. And we are extra mouths to feed. And at that, they're feeding us better than anyone else in the family. And that was really hard for me to come to terms with because I didn't feel like I should be privileged in a situation like this. Every day, they made me appreciate my life. They showed me that material possessions are things that should be given away to others. They showed me that family is the most important thing that you have in your life. And these are all values that I don't see in our own country. And it makes me want to be more like that and because I think I could be happier if I was like them. And so there's a big part of my happiness that I feel like I left in the Philippines.